Progress.
Students, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Is the screen visible to you? Hello, students. Is the screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now look,
Ma'am, some of the students are there in waiting room.
yeah. Wait a minute. Some technical problems are going on. That's why the class is being late today. And wait a minute. Let me check. Now, what is the importance of telephonic conversation in your course? Okay. Now, as in the previous class, I have given the information about the communication skill lab and why it is required. Now, I would like to say you that look, why this telephonic conversation is required. Okay. Now, whenever you will be facing the interview or some hiring recruitment process in your after this course, then there will be certain steps to be hired. So one of the steps is the telephonic conversation round. And not only this, this is the basic requirement. I won't say this thing, but also after joining the organization, you'll be facing so many this type of conversation while dealing any professional project or professional means whatever the outlay you're going to be handled. Then at that time you may face these are the means phone conversation. Now, as I have introduced that what it is mean that the transmission of speech over a distance either by electric signal propagated along conductor or radio signal, a type of telecommunication. Now, this is all about the theoretical definition. But when we come to the original fact, what happens? We lack in the communication skill while conversing over the telephone. Now, look, I have given one image. Just on the RHS of your screen, I have given one image that one is formal, another word is informal. Now, in the formal segment, I have written, look, good morning. Whenever you are going to start any conversation, we say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening like this. But in case of informal, means to your friends, to your relatives, somewhat to some extent, you can say to some organized, yes.
Ma'am, some students are waiting.
Now, look, there is quite difference between this formal and informal communication. Now, whenever you will see in the organizations, people speak like this. Could I speak to somebody as the Mr. and Mrs. XYZ, whatever, please, like this. But in case of this informal, you may observe that they are telling, I am in the post office at the moment, XYZ, whatever the example they have given, depicted over here. There are certain differences you can observe from this list, how you are going to speak, in which manner you are going to speak in the organization and out of the organization in your personal life. This is totally in case of your personal life, informal, and in the formal means professional life. Now, nextly, now how we are going to understand what these telephonic skills are all about. Look, I have given here, adopt a positive tone. Positive tone means what? Suppose you were speaking any sentence or any word over a telephone, it must be always in the positive tone. Means, suppose a word you are using in day-to-day life, it may be used as positive sense. Sometimes it is used as negative sense, the same word. But whenever you are speaking or throwing the focus or emphasizing on a word, at that time you will observe that in which means tonation you are speaking. That is very vital. It should be every time positive so that the opponent party, or that means the who is the receiver of your message, okay, he or she should take you as a positive way. That means adopt a positive tone is required. Project an enthusiastic and natural tone while on a phone. Now, next is the clear enunciation. What do you mean by this clear enunciation? That is nothing but the pronunciation. You should speak very clearly and use the simple words so that the message can be conveyed easily. Okay. Next is be sincere. Start with greeting that I have told you in the previous slide. Good morning, good afternoon, that these are all types of greeting. Saying hello, how are you? In case of informal, sometimes we use how are you, what's up, like this, isn't it? Now all comes under greeting. Now this is be sincere, start with greeting. Greeting is very vital. whenever you are going to speak to somebody, you should greet. If you have given a call to any customer care or something like that, client service center or something, you will observe everybody when they are speaking over telephone, they always greet you. Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam. Like this, they used to greet. Now, look, next is use names. Now, in between the classes, whenever I take the class, look, it is my practice that I ask by name. Suppose I am giving this lecture, and after some time, I will be taking one, suppose, experiment. Okay, how you can speak over telephone. So I will be asking, suppose, Pranjal, please answer me. Then you are going to unmute yourself and you will answer me. Like this, I will take your name. Priyanka, can you understand my words, whatever I am speaking to you? Then you will answer. By name, I am just focusing. Now, like this, whenever you will be speaking over the telephone, you should say, first of all, you should take the data that, sir, can you please specify your name? Like this, you will take the data. After taking that name, then you use after a certain time, you will use, yes, Mrs. or Mr. like this XYZ, please don't be hesitate to tell your problem. Like this, you will continue your matter. Now, that means if you use your name, that opponent party or the receiver will understand that you are emphasizing or focusing on his or her problem specifically, and you are giving stress to it. That means you are not taking lightly about that matter. Now, next is what? Leave the customer satisfied. Leave the customer satisfied is what? You finish the conversation on the right note. What do you mean by this thing? Now, after the telephonic conversation is going to end, then you should know that conversation is whether fruitful or not.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interruption, but someone is waiting in the waiting room.
Okay, okay. Now, that means what? Now, leave the customer satisfied. That finish the conversation on the right note means what? Now, whenever you are, suppose you are having a conversation with a client, and you are going to solve a problem. Whatever he or she is complaining to you, you are going to solve the matter. Now, after providing all the options you have regarding that problem, all the optional solution you have in your hand, when you provide it to that customer, the customer should be satisfied. And customer satisfaction is the most prior thing to any organization. When you will be on the behalf of the organization, you are speaking to somebody else. Now, what happens? Suppose you have given that option A is this thing, option B is this thing, you opt it, and then you go ahead with this thing, you will be reaching to the conclusion where the problem will be solved. Now, suppose you have told the pathway to solve the problem. Now, after telling that thing to the customer, you should be aware that whether he or she is satisfied or not, whether his problem has been solved or not. You should be aware. So for that, you just take 1 minute or half a minute to take the feedback of that customer, that whether you have finished all the requirement or requisite, whatever given to you has been finished within the right note, means correct way or not. Whether you have handled the problem in the right direction or in the wrong direction or in the neutral direction. That is a big point when you converse over the telephone. Okay. Now, is there any problem, whatever I have told till now? Do you face any problem? Please speak up. Do you face any problem?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Have you got my point that why telephonic skill is required here? When you will be handling the situation in any organization, every day you have to face this telephonic conversation, because it is the basic thing nowadays. In today's present era, it is a basic thing that you should maintain all the steps what I have told you in the pictorial representation, what have I given you. It is a simple, a basic thing that you have to maintain while speaking. Now look, then after maintaining all this, what you are going to convey. Now, you should remember that give a reason for calling. Why have you called? Suppose you are the customer, you are giving a call to that particular person, you know your reason. Now, if you are the receiver, then you have to ask what are the other problems he or she is facing about certain particular thing. You should ask several reasons behind calling. Now, that means give a reason for calling. Then connecting the caller. Connecting the caller means what? Suppose you have to put that particular caller on hold, or sometimes you want to transfer the call. Sometimes you want to connect to somebody else, or you want to just come back later on, means call back him or her later on after the discussion with your higher authority, or the specific segment of your or the department of your organization. That is the basic thing here. Look, now asking the caller to wait. Look, one moment, would you like to hold? Can I put your call on hold? Like this, you have to ask. If you want to make the particular person waiting, then you cannot do like this. You are talking and just given the call on the hold, and then you will get back to that particular person. You cannot do it. Professionally, you cannot do it. So before keeping him or her on hold, you have to ask this type of question. Or sometimes if you want to transfer the call to somebody else, you will see in any health institute, okay, in any health organization, that means your hospitals, nursing home, if you call, not in the government one, okay, the private one, they will tell that, yes, I am transferring this your call to the nephrology department from to this department, like this. I am giving one just example. So like this, they are connecting the caller. They are connecting the caller. And last one is the asking the caller to hold or wait. Now, next is, I have given one example over here that this session I am going to carry on the next next hour. That means your second period of my session. Now, next is, look, I have given that, just can you have an observation over here? I have given one dialogue. This because this is a dialogue between person A and person B. Okay. In the second period, I'll be calling you one by one and we will speak about this. Now, next is problems of telephonic conversation. What are the problems we face? Actually, telephonic conversation contains 4 parameters. One is the sender, second is the message, third is the channel, and the fourth one is the receiver. Now, what happens when it comes to sender? Sender means, suppose you are giving call, that means you are the sender. to whom you are giving the call, he is the receiver. And the message you are going to convey means regarding the problem or regarding some project, regarding anything else, the official purpose message. Excuse me. Wait. Wait a minute. Now, suppose the message you are going to convey, that is a message, and in the channel means the platform by the virtue of which you are going to convey, by the virtue of which you are going to convey that particular message, that is called channel. Now, I am going to say you what are the problems the sender may face. Now, if the sender speaks too softly, you have to ask the sender to speak up. Suppose you are the receiver and somebody has given a call who is speaking very softly. You have to ask so many questions regarding that particular thing so that he or she speaks up. Now, next is he or she speaks mile a minute. Mile a minute means he or she is in a too hurry to end up his message and you have not got any point. Then you have to ask the sender that slow down, please maintain your pace, please slow down, I can't get you. You have to say all these things. Then next is if he or she mumbles. Mumbles means sometimes one may stammer, one may forget the message. Again, he is repeating and telling another thing haphazard way. That is mumbling. Okay. Now, if he or she mumbles, you cannot understand what the message he is delivering. Now, he or she talks too loudly that you have to hold the telephone's handset away from your ear. It is another problem. Now, what is this problem? Now, as suppose a person speaks too loudly, he cannot understand his voice modulation or voice amplitude, then what you have to ask them, okay, please say softly or like this, so that or the noise is too loudly coming. You have to say like this so that it may not hamper your ear, or sometimes you have to take your handset away from the ear sometimes. Now, these are the problems regarding the sender. And the message problem is what? Use of slang, vocabulary, technical language. Suppose a person belonging to the background of mechanical and talking to a person, suppose having the background of biotechnological. Now, if both the person are using their own field technical vocabulary, then they may not get each other. I am giving one example. Suppose a biotechnological person is speaking about the ELISA test, ELISA assay, then the mechanical person, they won't get what the ELISA assay is all about. Can you get my point, students? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, at that time, what happens? Actually, their message is not conveyed properly due to lack of understanding that technical language. And sometimes if you use some colloquial language, some regional language at that place, that time also the person faces the problem, same problem. Now, repetition of the message. Sometimes the receiver will feel irritated if you repeat the message repeatedly. Okay, if you repeat the message repeatedly, then what happens? Then you will face the same problem. Now, disorganized and confusing message. Disorganized and confusing message is what? Now, when a speaker speaks and or a writer writes, there are certain differences, because now I am speaking about all these things. I have written and jotted down in a systematic manner. Then I am giving the information or the message regarding this telephonic conversation. Now it is fine to you to get the thing. But if I have not jotted down this all the points and what I am going to speak, I am speaking haphazardly, you won't be able to understand what the message I am giving to convey you. No, that's the problem about the confusing and disorganized. Organized message means content is ready in a proper way from the introduction to conclusion. But if the message is disorganized, the receiver may not understand what the matter is there laying behind the message. Now, next is what? Use of foreign language. Yes, in between the speech, if the speaker is using foreign language, it would be difficult to understand for the receiver. Now, speaker's assumption is while delivering the message, the speaker pre-assume that my receiver understand the background or the basic criteria of that particular matter, then he is conveying. But sometimes it has been found that the receiver totally belonging to different background and won't be able to understand that particular message due to the pre-assumption of the speaker. Have you got my point? Am I clear to you regarding the problems about the message? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
It happens or not, you tell. Practically, it happens. Yes, practically this exists. Have you ever felt it in your life?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. These are the things which are the problems. Now look, problems related to channels. These channels means what? By the virtue of the which platform you are going to convey the message, that is static or buzzing on the line, you will feel that you are giving a phone call, but somebody else is speaking rather than two person. Okay, there is some buzzing sound like this. Okay, this is called buzzing sound is coming on the line. You are facing a problem, or you are speaking monotonously, but the receiver is not responding at all. That is a static case. Okay, you are speaking, the receiver is not able to listen. Okay, that time the line is static line. Now, next is noisy background from the sender's location. You are giving a call to somebody else, and on your background several noises going on. Somebody is banging with the hammer, doing a work, and somebody is calling, some telephonic sound is coming, and other sound, TV, suppose TV is on your background, other sounds are coming. At that time, the receiver won't get your actual message. Next is breaking of connection. Suppose I am using a Wi-Fi giving this class. Now, if the current will be gone, my video recording will be stopped, everything will be stopped. I won't be have the class on the Zoom in the proper connectivity. That is the breaking of connection. Now, next is an echo online. Sometimes you will see you are speaking that thing, you are again listening back your own voice. That is called an echo online. Have you ever felt all this problem?
Yes, ma'am. A lot.
A lot. So these are the common problems I have just taken and given a note like this, one bullets I have made. And next is the receiver. Receiver, what is the problem? Non-acknowledgement of the message is being comprehensible. That is what the message, मैसेज के बारे में मान लो जानकारी ही नहीं है उसको, जो मैसेज मिल रहा है means the message whatever he or she is receiving, she doesn't know at all about that message. That is a non-acknowledgement of that message. Now, gap in the engagement in the conversation. Suppose you are speaking something to the receiver, sender is speaking something, and after a certain means the gap means some message is missed out, and again the next information is given by the sender, then there will be gap in the engagement in the conversation. Sometimes receiver is busy in other thing, she or he is paying attention to other thing, then that means distraction and stops paying attention to the sender. Then the conduction of another conversation simultaneously, the receiver is doing suppose attending 2 phone calls at a time simultaneously. Sometimes other conversation, physical conversation is going on another hand. Okay, but she is dealing with the sender's call. That is another problem. Then misunderstanding and decipher of the message. If the person misunderstands a particular message and take it in a wrong way or the other direction, there is a decipher of the message, it is also done. We have seen a lot of time, we have seen this thing. Now, I would like to ask you that whether have you seen, or there were 14 students, but now there are 12 students. I don't know why. Okay, let me take the attendance. In the next period, after 5 minutes, join the same meeting, okay? After.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Because time limitation is there, that's why. Okay, let me show you the next slide. We will be having actually this one. After 5 minutes, when you will join this session, I will tell you how to speak in this on the telephonic conversation ground. Okay. I'm closing here. And I will also start another thing, that is your communication at workplace. I have covered in other department.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, last class you said that you will share the code of classroom.
Oh, Google Classroom. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I will share.
Yes, ma'am.
Shortly, I will share. Okay. To send the assignment. हाँ बोलो क्या बोलना था, प्लीज से.
Ma'am, will you upload this in YouTube?
Yes, every day I do it.
I haven't got your link.
Okay. Other classes YouTube I have done already. Okay, you want the links? Okay,
Yes,
I will
ma'am.
post
Send it in
okay.
our group.
Okay, I will send you the link and also the PPT. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I will share the PPT because I have shared the PPT in other groups last day. I will share the same PPT to you. After the class, I send it. Okay.
Okay.